In this video, we're going to look at the concept of relative formula mass or molar mass of a substance and how to calculate percentage by mass of an element in a compound. Okay, now after going through this video, you'll be able to do these basic calculations in chemistry involving molar mass or relative formula mass. Alright, so ensure you stay to the very end of this video because this is a very important calculative aspect of chemistry. Alright, having known that, let's go into the details of the video. Okay, now let's begin with relative formula mass. Alright, so we're looking at relative formula mass. Okay, now note again that relative formula mass is also called molar mass. Alright, and its unit is gram per mole, or another way we can write it is gram per mole. Okay, so either one will work. Having known this, let's look at a typical example for this. Alright, let's look at how to calculate the molar mass or relative formula mass of a compound. Now, let's say we are given this compound magnesium chloride. We have to find the relative formula mass of magnesium chloride or molar mass of magnesium chloride. And note that in the question, you are often given the relative atomic mass of the element that make up the compound. Okay, and we are given the relative atomic mass of magnesium to be 24, and we have that of chlorine to be 35.5. Okay, so now that we have the relative atomic mass of these elements respectively, we can now go ahead and find the relative formula mass or the molar mass of this compound we have, magnesium chloride. Okay, now note that you have to know the relative atomic mass of elements. Alright, it's very, very simple. Relative atomic mass is the same thing as mass number. Alright, for instance, let's say this is carbon atom, this is atomic number, this is a mass number, that's 12. So relative atomic mass is something as mass number. All you have to do in most cases is to multiply the atomic number by 2. Alright, and you get the relative atomic mass or the mass number. Oftentimes when you do this, you get the relative atomic mass or mass number. So take note of this. Okay, now to find the relative formula mass or molar mass of a compound, so all you have to do is to add up all the relative atomic masses of the atoms in a compound. Alright, so for magnesium chloride, you're going to give us the relative atomic mass of magnesium is 24. It's going to be 24, and we have one atom of magnesium here, so we will not multiply it by any number, just 24 plus that of chlorine is 35.5, and we have 2 atoms of chlorine here, so it will be 24 plus 35.5 times 2. Alright, so when you simplify this in a calculator, okay, you are going to have the output to be 95. Okay, so the unit of molar mass or relative molar mass is gram per mole. Alright, so this will be the answer to this question. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now let's wipe this. Let's look at another example. Very, very interesting, guys. Okay, now let's look at that of this compound. Now this is sulfuric acid, so you have H2SO4, and we are given the relative atomic mass of hydrogen to be 1, that of sulfur to be 32, and that of oxygen to be 16. Okay, now feel free to pause this video and see if you can figure this out. We have to find the molar mass of this compound or the relative formula mass. Okay, let's do it together. Now it's going to be, as usual, we are going to add the relative atomic masses of the atoms in this compound. So it will be, we have 2 atoms of hydrogen here, and relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, so it's going to give us 2 times 1 plus sulfur, we have 1 atom, that of sulfur here is 32, plus oxygen, we have 4 atoms of oxygen here, so oxygen, relative atomic mass of oxygen is 16, so it gives us plus 16 times 4. So when you simplify this, you're going to have 2 plus 32 plus, now 16 times 4. When you simplify it, you're going to have it to be 64. Okay, so when you add everything here, you are going to get the output to be 98. Okay, 98 gram per mole. Okay, is either write it like this or write it like this, 98 gram per mole. Okay, so that will answer to this question. Now, before we end this class, I'll show you guys how you can calculate the relative molar mass of the compound or the molar mass of the compound. Now, let's look at how to calculate the percentage by mass of an element in the compound, and after you can call it a class. This aspect is also very important for chemistry. Let's wipe this. Okay, now for percentage by mass of an element, this is a formula you have to apply. All right, so percentage of mass of an element, this is a formula applied for it in a compound, right, equals the relative atomic mass of the element times the number of atoms, so number of atoms of that element, okay, times 100 over 1. This one is all over the relative formula mass or the molar mass of the compound. Relative formula mass of the compound. Okay, guys, this is very important. Now let's look at a typical example. Let's look at this question. Let me bring the question. Okay, guys, let's look at this question. A typical example. It says find the percentage mass of sodium carbonate. This is the formula we are going to apply. So the percentage mass of sodium, we're going to apply this formula of, let's say this question is given the relative atomic mass of the elements to be sodium. We have sodium to be 23, we have carbon to be 12, and we have oxygen to be 16. Firstly, let's get the molar mass or relative molar mass of the compound sodium carbonate. So it will be, we have 2 atoms of sodium. It will be 23 times 2 plus that of carbon is 1 atom plus 12 plus oxygen is 3 atoms. That's 16 times 3. So when you simplify this, you're going to have it to be 23 times 2 will give us 46 plus 12 plus 16 times 3 is going to give us 48. So when you add everything together, it's going to give you 106 gram per mole. All right, now when you apply it to this formula, you're going to have, since it's the relative atomic mass of the element and the number of atoms, so the relative atomic mass of the elements we are looking for is 23. That's sodium, and sodium here has 2 atoms. It should be 23 times 2 over 106 gram per mole times 100 over 1. Now let me punch everything together in my calculator and see what it's going to give me. Okay, so I have the output to be 43.3. Now you keep having a recurring decimal. Now if you want to leave it in the nearest whole number, this will give us 43%. And that will be the answer to this question. It's as simple as that. Okay guys, let's call it a class here. I hope you learned something interesting from this video. Now if you are new to the channel, ensure you check the description of this video below. You see a link to our Telegram channel. Click on it and join the Telegram channel for instant notifications. Also ensure that you are subscribed to this channel by hitting the subscribe button for more videos like this. Like, share, and comment on this video. Tell me how you feel from what you have learned from this class. If you seem to have any specific questions regarding this topic, feel free to post in the comment section below. I'll ensure to give you a response. Now click on the end screen above and I will see you in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching.